All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Sorry for that breaking transmission, but yes, we're back and of course, we're getting into the conversation about food and we have Michael Virginia with us. Hi, Michael.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and sorry for the whole challenge we had earlier.
So who are we suing now? MTN, Nine Mobile, which of them are we suing now?
Uh, it's well, I don't want to call any network
All right,
provider.
let's pardon them. All right, thank you, Michael. It's good to have you join us. Now, we're going to be taking this conversation from the farmer's perspective because we know that you are in the production line where you farm, basically. You are a farmer. I mean, that's why you're on the green line anyways. So from that perspective, right, we have seen that projections say that about 33 million Nigerians will face food insecurity in 2025. That's what the projections say. Now, do you see this as a policy failure or a policy gap? Or are we at the mercy of global food and climate shocks?
So there are lots of challenges. Certainly, we have to call it not just a policy failure, but we have a failure from the leadership who should have structured things. I think I heard you talking about healthy food, and people have been talking about the GMO, genetically modified organisms, and the rest of them. So the white man will now come to build your country or your home the way it suits you. The businessman wants to build something that will grow himself. So while you are complaining how they are doing that thing, instead of you trying to do the thing your own way and make it as good as you want it, you are expecting people to come solve your problem. It doesn't really go well with human nature. Humans think about themselves first before they think about the other people. Even the Bible stated that you should love others the way you love yourself. So it's you first. So the system needs to start looking out for those things that are becoming a problem outside. Rather than importing them, you have to import knowledge rather than the product. I think that's where we are failing it. I've been hearing that glamour of GMO, and the rest of them, unhealthy food, how we import food or material, corn, rice that have stayed for several years. And they're asking, is it the people who are exporting to you that we eat the old food? No, you are the one to eat it. So we are failing as a system. That's a major reason. One of the ways we fail as the system fails is that we don't create enough policy that will help us overcome the challenges which are on ground. So there is a policy failure, but generally there is a system failure.
Okay, there's a system failure. And let's also ask this question. When we talk about food, right, what is food? Because there are different different perspectives. The farmer has a different definition about food. The chef has a different definition about food and good food as well. So but let's hear from your perspective. What is food? When we say food, what exactly are we talking about?
Okay, food is any material that you can consume, you can ingest, or you can eat, and it will pass through a normal process of body usage. So you take something and it's being digested in your stomach, or it's being absorbed into your body system. There are some things you take, like you say alcohol, it can absorb through the walls of your cells or tissue or organs. So anything that you take and through the right process of digestion, it's what we call food. So anything that cannot be taken in and digested the proper way is not called food. It can be other things. So food is anything you can take in, it will digest and follow through the process. We have a digestive system, we have the mouth, we have the throat, using the common words, the stomach, the different compartments depending on the organism. So whatsoever you can take and it will naturally, without any enhancement, pass through the digestive system is what we call food.
Oh, Thank you very much for making that clear.
Yeah, you've talked about the fact that we have the policy problem, as part of the challenges that we're facing in agriculture here in Nigeria. And saying the fact that we have an arable land in Nigeria, there are lots of food shortages as well here in the country. What do you think are some of those drivers as well that are causing the shortages of food and the scarcity and also the price hike of food in Nigeria?
Okay, there are things that we see every day around our environment. Number one is insecurity. Insecurity is a problem in any part of the world. The moment insecurity gets into, especially the rural area, the next thing you will have is that farmers will start running far from the farm, because most farms in this part of the country, or in Nigeria, the part of the world, always are majorly located in the rural area. So if we have like the food basket of the nation, Benue State, there have been crises for some years now, and rather than finding a way to reduce insecurity, if you take your eyes off it as a government, what happens is that those farmers will be scared to get to their farms, because the people they call the enemies will target to hunt them around that environment. In our own environment too, if you notice, whenever there's a problem, people shy away from that neighborhood. So insecurity is a major problem there. Then now we're talking about inflation and the rest of them. It affects the farmers, especially the common farmers. The farmer who is supposed to spend 100,000 to cultivate maybe a plot of land or a square meter or something like that can no longer afford that 100,000 naira again. So the government, in its own wisdom, should know that we're supposed to subsidize for these people. They can no longer buy the seed, they can no longer buy the fertilizer and the rest of them. So you have to start looking for a way to subsidize. While you remove the subsidy from fuel, you have to put it in the agricultural sector. If you don't help the farmers to reduce the cost of production, there's no way that they are going to farm. In the southern part, we noticed most farms were shutting down because people never had the money. And the people who had the money to raise chicken, there was a point as a last year Christmas, we were selling chicken for 30,000, 35,000, 25,000. Yeah. So when you raise these birds with 20,000, I want to sell for 25,000, you find out that it's too, the masses don't have the funds to purchase this. The next year you will not be excited, you'll not be willing to invest in such a business again. So farmers keep withdrawing because they don't have enough to do that, and they don't have enough resources, capital, and some don't have the security to be able to do that. There are lots of things, but these few things are very important in our modern day food security.
All right, since we're talking about affordability and security, right, let's expand on that a bit. Now, last week, I had a conversation about ginger. And one of the things that I realized during that conversation was the fact that we exported most of our seedlings. We exported most of our ginger out of Nigeria. And now we have little to no seedling, that can help us produce, that can sustain the ginger market here in Nigeria. Now, the Bay states, which is Borno State, the Adamawa State, and Yobe State, right? Alone, it says about 3.7 million people are food insecure. And this is as a result of insurgency and insecurity. But on the other hand, there are analysts and experts who say that much more than insecurity, the problem is agriculture. We don't have a lot of people engaging in agricultural activities. Even if we have a lot of people engaging in agricultural activities, we have done a lot of miscalculations in the agricultural sector. And I'll use ginger as an example. Right? Now, how much of Nigeria's hunger crisis is actually tied to insecurity rather than agriculture? Or do you think it is more of an agricultural problem than it is about security here in Nigeria?
Okay, so like I said earlier, it's a system failure. So we talked about policies. Now, when you talk about exporting of our product, like we have our produce, we have the palm oil. They said before we are the top, one of the top in Africa, but today we have exported and people are now supplying to us. What does this tell you? They tell you people are more interested in themselves. As a farmer, if I have opportunity to be able to sell my product to, let's say, China, and I will make 100% profit than I will make in Nigeria, certainly I'll look for a way to export it. So that's where the policy comes to play. So when we have a policy that now controls how you can export, not just how you can import, maybe a percentage of what you produce, this is a percentage that should be permitted to be exported. You know, the policy can now guide the way we make use of what we have, because everyone is looking out for how to export because of the value of dollar to naira and other currency. So the policy can control that. Then this insecurity is something that everyone knows about it. Nobody can say you are in Nigeria and you don't know that there's an insecurity that is affecting. There are insecurities everywhere, but in Nigeria, one of the cry from especially the middle belt and the northern part of Nigeria has been insecurity, and that happened majorly not in the city but the rural area. Certainly, it will affect farmers. Nobody wants to get into the farm to die. People go there to farm to survive. So, if the insecurity is being controlled, resources which the government had already made some promises to distribute some relief funds for farmers, automatically people will farm. They will have a control to say, okay, we are investing in you. Make sure that this product 90% is for Nigerians before you can export, or this ratio 90 to 10. You supply 90 to the Nigerian market, 10 to the foreign market. So with this, you can be sure that everything will come to normalcy and there will be balance. So insecurity is there, policy is there, like I stated earlier.
Now, you mentioned that some of the things that the government is already doing right now. If you take your mind back to some of the policies that the government has also introduced, one of which is Feed the Nation initiative that they brought on board. That policy or that program or initiative, the Feed the Nation initiative that the federal government brought on board some years ago. You know, can you mention some of the policies now that the federal government is also trying to introduce that could help farmers as it is? But if you look at this policy, the Feed the Nation policy, one out of many anyways, so many Nigerians didn't really see or feel the impact of that particular policy. What makes you think that with the introduction of new policies, that it is going to help the farmers even escalate their farming better?
Okay, the policies, like I listened to the State Minister for Agriculture speaking some time back, and he was talking, they asked the question, how do you manage the challenge we are facing, not just getting the products, getting the money into the system, but make sure it gets into the real farmers, not the portfolio farmers. So he said that there will be a proper check and control. There should be reports, there should be follow-up, that if possible, the society should be able to know, we have invested in this person or these people, this is how far they have been able to produce from the quality seeds, stems, manure, fertilizer that we have given to them, the cash we have given to them. It's all about being genuine and targeting the right people. The moment you can target the right people, believe you me that they are going to invest it in that sector. If you give me 1 billion naira today, I'm very sure that up to 900,000 will be in the agricultural sector, because that's where my passion lies. That's where I've lived almost all my life in. But if you give to somebody in the oil sector, if he has to put anything in the agri sector that he's not informed about, he'll put like 10% and send the 90% to his sector that he understands. So there's the money into the system assumed to be used, but not used.
Okay. Now let's talk about the actual problem, which is a lot of Nigerians not being able to access food. Because we can talk about these beautiful policies, we can talk about these agricultural innovations, but what key step do you think that the government can take to ensuring that food is accessible to Nigeria? Because this is one of the most basic needs of every human, every Nigerian. Now, regardless of the fact that hunger globally is reducing, it is not really reducing in Africa. The inflation rate has dropped, but food inflation continues, or food crisis continues here in Nigeria. So what active or proactive steps do you think the government can take to ensure that every family at least is able to afford the 1 how do they call it, 101 or 00011. At least, how do they call it, two out of 3 square meals.
101.
Who eats 111 these days? Michael, do you eat 111?
Okay, so I will state some things that can be done. Yesterday, earlier this week, I granted an interview in Port Harcourt, a radio interview, and they talked about the reduction in price by the federal government. And I said, oh, it's possible that price have been reduced, but the challenge is, like in Port Harcourt currently, there's a reduction in gari, which is gotten from cassava, processed cassava flour. And I told them that my knowledge in the market as an agriculturist, a farmer, and also someone who understands price in the market, that the reduction in the price of gari in Port Harcourt is not as a result of government intervention or support, is a challenge of the steady rain and flood. So if there is a support, which they say is reducing the cost of price, the cost of feed materials, because the government is supporting, it should cut across the 6 geopolitical zones. Very important. It should cut. Then we still talk about policies that can help in transportation, because if you produce rice in, let's say, Benue State or Taraba, by the time it moves to the south, you find out that it must have added about 10% difference in the cost, because of the cost of production has increased. So transportation, that's when I mentioned earlier about policies that can help the system to thrive. So we need to start considering subsidy in the agricultural sector, genuine subsidy, not the one that 1 or 2 persons will hold. But there's a point I even got to a community in Rivers State once, and I saw them having corn. I was like, why didn't you plant this corn? They said that they couldn't plant it because it's not viable. So somebody supplied a corn to a community that is not viable. They planted it. It was not growing. Their local corn was better than what they were planting. So things like this should be checked. Because you give somebody a contract doesn't mean that you should just allow this person to just do whatsoever they like. What are they doing? How are they doing it? Who is really receiving this thing? It should be checked properly down to the ground level. Support them financially, create a policy that can help the system, then find a proper way to follow up. You know how they follow up our money in the bank. You know how they follow through PVN. You know how they follow up through NIN. They push all this thing. They know how to follow the system to make sure that we are doing the right thing. They can create a system that can checkmate the people who are actually producing and who they are selling to at what price. Market standardization is a big problem in Nigeria. It's something trendy. I would not like to call the name, about one person going to China, getting a product that the other person sells, and the rest of them.
Okay.
Yes, so nobody is checking how much is this person selling this thing. So I can just choose one that and say, I have the highest. Okay, let me take, for example, in our industry, we have day-old chicks. Today, they are selling for 300 naira for broiler. Another day 500, another day 1,000, another day 1,500. And what is influencing this this irresponsible change in price? What's happening? Did they lose money when they sold for 500? Why are they now selling for 1,500? Why are they selling for almost 2,000 naira? Things like this should be checked. If we have a proper market standardization that will check how much we are buying this thing and how much this should be sold. So people are supporting. You're supposed to know that you are talking about reduction in price of this and that. Why are you not looking it in this other way? That there are some persons who are making excess liquidity. In the economy, they'll say excess liquidity is bad. So there's a percentage you should be able to make from your investment, from the cost of production. Not that because you have the major market, you can just inflate things, they say monopoly and the rest of them. Things like that should be checked. Even if we have everything in the market, some persons can actually control the price and sell as much as they want. So market standardization is like, let's say 70% on how we can control the cost of things in the
into
market.
the market.
All right. Now, earlier on, when we were having this conversation, you mentioned in passing the concept of GMO infiltrating the country, Nigeria. Let's start off by, in your own simple terms, explaining to us what GMO really means. We understand the genetically modified organisms as it is, but yet many Nigerians do not understand the concept of GMO. Let's start off first of all by one, explaining that concept and how it affects the agricultural space in Nigeria, especially when it comes to the natural breeding of crops, that we have in this part of the country.
Okay, so GMO is just, like you mentioned, genetically modified organism, which is an organism that has been improved on. So let's say, for example, a cow, which is a female cattle, can give birth, that means a common term, can give birth to only one cattle in a year. So we're not saying that we want it to be able to give birth to twin calf or calves. So we have to start looking out for, okay, there's a place in China that they have a cow that can give birth to two. So let's cross them with our own. So our own now can start giving birth to two. So they are not completely like the China own. They are a mixed hybrid between the China breed and the Nigerian breed. So that's what they call, you are modifying things, but there are some negative part of it where people get to the laboratory and they try to alter some of the gene of that particular thing. So they alter it and they take out some things. Those ones are harmful, but natural improvement, crossing and getting hybrids of things, those ones are not actually what they call it, harmful to the system. So there's a natural way of doing this, and there's also a laboratory way of improving on things which are completely harmful. I think there's a body who regulates, but I don't know how effective they have been in regulating the genetically modified organism within the country. I think that's where the cry is, and most of the farmers are actually crying, how do I need to buy a seed? And when I plant it, if I want to plant again, I'll not be able to get a seed to plant another one, So that's the cry of most farmers. I think that's one of their problems. And like I said earlier, the white man is doing a business to make money, not directly to improve you, but because they need to improve you, or they need to feed you or make you feel comfortable for them to make money.
Hello, Michael.
Are you with us?
Hello, Michael.
Oh, I had one more question to ask Michael before he left. But
like,
anyways, it's important that these conversations are had. Okay, Michael, are you back?
That's improving on your own.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yes,
yes, I am.
We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, no.
The network is still fluctuating.
At the end of the day, he's going to have to sue someone eventually.
Definitely.
But yeah,
of course, yeah. Go on.
Question I wanted to ask Michael was, we are talking about food security and less about nutrition. Okay. Are you there with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's just throw that to you. Now, we have been talking about food security and less about nutrition security. Now, the quality of food or the quantity of food is important, but so is the quality of the food that Nigerians have access to. Now, my question to you is, how do we ensure Nigerians don't just eat, but they eat quality food?
Okay, so when it comes to checking, we have Standard Organization of Nigeria, we have NAFDAC, and these are people that have been trained to be able to check out for every product and every produce that has been made around the country. So people like that are the people who should check out, are we producing, not just going to certify a company, oh, they are producing this, is fine. But the question should be, are they producing? Because I want to start to be fit.
Okay. The camera caught me rolling my eyes. It was supposed to be rolling anyways. Hi, Michael. Are you there with us? gets increasingly frustrating to have. But that's one question I really wanted to throw out to him. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh. Hello, Michael?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right. Just give us your concluding thought there.
Yeah, so that we just let you go. Since the network is doing its thing.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's
okay,
fine.
so it's as simple as everyone has a role to play in food security, and also everyone should take responsibility, not just putting the government as the sole proprietor of our suffering. Sorry for using that word.
Of our suffering.
Everyone should.
Okay.
So everyone should try in their own way to make sure that they contribute to food in your backyard. Get sack, produce food, produce pepper, produce tomato. Not everything is costly. Everything is costly, and yet believe you can plant. You're not planting. Then also the government knows they have a lot to do about it. They should invest in knowledge if they don't want. What they call it, you're not sure of what is coming from outside country. Invest in the of the people. Let the research institute start producing their own hybrids, genetics in animal science, in crop. Let them get into the field. Invest. Let them not just do that to write paper. Final year, you just write one, one project, and you solve it and you dump it. They should do something, make sure that this thing comes to limelight. I think that's where we're missing.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael Wejinya, for joining us on the show today. Really, really appreciate your knowledge.
Thank you so much, too. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.
And you too. Cheers.
All right.
Michael said something about not leaving everything to the government.
Exactly.
And being able to ensure that you engage in agricultural activities in your own level while you can. That's pepper you can plant in your garden. By the way, I have water leaf in my garden and I actually ate from it. So, but yes, tubers of yam, you know, you can plant 2-3 tubers of yam because they do that in sack bags now. You know, I mean, any way possible to ensure that agricultural activities, you know, are boosted in Nigeria, and it is boosted rather, and a lot of people get into the agricultural sector. Of course, when we were talking about the importance of these subsistence farmers, you know, we think that they play little to no roles, but imagine that they are farming what they're eating. The circulation of food into the market will be more because we have more people actually farming what they're eating. So the people who do not have access to amenities or who cannot farm for themselves, we're talking about the middle class and the lower class of society now. Those people will be catered to right in the market, and the prices of food will be significantly reduced. But it's been an amazing conversation so far.
It has been. And again, just to reiterate on it, you know, we have a lot of us have large compounds. You know, you have smaller compounds. There are strategies. He talked about the fact that you need to learn to invest in knowledge, and I think that's what we miss it out as a people. Knowledge is like the key driver that we all need to actually move forward if we must achieve food security. We can do all of these things gradually and gradually. You talked about the fact that you ate from your own garden. You had your water leaf. You know, some of us also have the bitter leaves, you know, in our houses, the scent leaves, the pepper, you know, and these are things that can be homegrown, you know. So if you pay attention to it, you just might be amazed how much you're contributing to food security in your society, your vicinity, even just amongst your own sphere of influence. And I think it's a way to go. You know, in the long run, food security is our both responsibility, not just for the government, but
not just for the government.
You and I are responsible for it as well.
All right, on a lighter note, it's What Food Day today. Share a plate of food with someone, you know. One or two, let them know that you care about them, and let them know. I mean, it's What Food Day. Let people have access to food, amazingly so. Thank you so much for being a part of our programs today. We had an amazing time hanging out with you. But of course, you know, we will remind you that we are active across social media platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, which is now X, on TikTok, and on Facebook as well. It is at Rapid TV. On YouTube, it is at Official Rapid TV. And of course, one more official website or platform where you can connect with us live across all programs is our website at www.rbnradiotv.com. My name is Martha Allen. It's been a long time I told you could call me Martha.
And of course, my name is Victor. Okay, see you tomorrow.